while. Welcome to a new year.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you back. We had a ton of fun in December and I kind of missed you.
Yeah. And it's, I had someone just the other day pop up and be like, hey, are you doing anything else with Jana soon? We enjoyed the Advent stuff. And I'm like, Just you wait.
And you know what else? What we've been bonding over lately on Facebook is Wordle. If you haven't played Wordle, first of all, it's just fun to say Wordle.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant game. I'm
It's
hooked.
a great game. It's not Wordle.com.
No.
You have to, I Google every morning Wordle and it gives me the link to the thing. I don't know why I don't just
leave the tab open. I just leave the tab open because because after you get the day's Wordle, it gives you the countdown to the next Wordle, which is always midnight at your specific time zone.
Right.
But I just leave the tab open and then I'm all happy. I go get my coffee and I sit with my cup and I refresh and there it is.
And you have Wordle. Yeah. So I'm a bit of a night owl. So sometimes I get it done before I go to bed for the day.
Oh, I can't do that. I mean, if I'm up that late, I am hating it the next morning because my alarm goes off at 5:30 regardless. Because, the critters got to eat. Yeah.
So I guess, for those who don't know, Wordle is a 5-letter word game where you're trying to figure out what the word is. And you type in your first guess and it gives you a green where you have the right letter in the right spot and a yellow for the right letter in the wrong spot. And then you have 6 guesses.
And it's gray if it's the wrong letter entirely, then it's not a letter that's used in that word.
And I like that the little keyboard at the bottom
will helps.
Darken out the ones that you used and are not in the word. That helps a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
And there are some times when I just resort to pencil and paper and I'll make my little dashes and process of elimination. I'll figure out, okay, well, I already tried A or E, for example, twice, and I know it can't be in those 2 positions. And, I'll start out with the paper and pencil a lot of times.
Yeah.
Everybody has their, but I will tell you, I do too. I just sit there with my coffee and I'm like, and I stare at it, but I will tell you, there are lots of different strategies with what your starting out word should be.
Yes. I like to use the word irate because you get your R and T, which are common letters, but you also get I, A, and E. So 3 vowels.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sometimes use the word audio, AUDIO, because then I'm busting out 4 vowels right off the bat.
Yeah. Perfect.
Or and I hate this word in general to say it, moist. Because
you get the S and the T and 2 vowels.
There's a lot of conversation online about what's the best starting word.
Right.
It's interesting. Right. And I don't always use the same one though. I'll put a link down below in the video description to the official Wordle website because it's not Wordle.com. But then also somebody has done the Wordle Archives.
That is the dangerous place.
It is because I'm trying to catch up and I'm in the 60s roughly. Yeah. Let's talk about our next knit along.
Yeah, I am very excited about this one.
You found the pattern. It was a suggestion you came up with, and I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, well, we decided we were going to do something together come in sort of this first start of the year.
Yeah, quarter.
And I had signed up to take some lace knitting lessons with a woman named Elizabeth Williamson, who is a Shetland knitter. She lives in England. She's from Shetland. She lives in England now, but she teaches Shetland knitting online. So anyway, and so I'm taking some of her classes in March. And so when you were like, let's do it in March, I was like, yeah, but it's got to be lace.
Right.
It's got to be Shetland lace. That's what I'm doing in March. So, but we didn't want to scare people.
Freak out about that. Yeah. Before people freak out about that, this is a basic pattern. I will be doing online tutorials. Don't get scared. Yes. But if you want to learn lace, but still have a fun knit part of it's good TV knitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. Super fun.
So there's 2 different kinds of Shetland lace knitting that goes on in Shetland. There are Shetland shawls,
right?
And there are Shetland haps.
A hap.
They are They are different.
They are.
And sometimes you'll hear people talk about hap shawls. They are not from Shetland when they do that. Yeah, that's one giveaway, because
Yeah.
they are very distinct things in their minds. The shawl is very ornate lace, and like the center panel will be very ornate, and the edging will be very ornate.
Yeah, it's
The
like the wedding shawls that are really fine and yeah.
Yep, the wedding ring, pull it through, or the wedding ring, yes, exactly. The hap shawl is more of a workaday shawl. That was like the winter coat, you know, it was a big square. It still followed the same sort of layout, where they would have, they usually start with knitting a lace edging that was long enough to go around all four sides. And then they would pick up and knit inward what they called the border.
Okay.
And then they would knit the center panel.
Okay.
And then they would join it all together. There are also people who do it the other way. They start with the square, they do the border, and then they do that.
And that's what I'm more familiar with, is the inside out.
Right. And that's actually, that was traditionally only done in one small area of Shetland. Everyone else was doing it the outward in method.
Okay. Okay.
But around Bigton, I believe, is where they did it.
Right.
And if you have heard of Gudrun Johnston's Hansel shawl, she does it the inward
Inside
out.
Right.
Right.
And so these were traditional shawls that were square, and they were used as baby blankets, but then also folded in half diagonally to use as a wrap.
Right. You would wear it around your shoulders and sort of tuck it into your skirt or your belt.
Or if you're skinny, you tie it in the back.
You could tie it, exactly. And so it would cover your shoulders and back and leave your arms. There's pictures people hold, you know, sort of tying their babies to them with them and all sorts of things.
We are not knitting that, however.
We are not even doing that. Because Ella Gordon, who is a knitwear designer up there in Shetland, has a wonderful project that I think is a lovely modern take on the hap, which is her hap cowl. So usually that center panel on a hap was just garter stitch. So her hap cowl is a wrap twice cowl, and it starts with garter stitch at the top. And then typically the border stitches would be feather and fan. And so that's what she's done as well. So we're going to start with garter stitch, and then we'll have just a very basic feather and fan at the end. And then when you twist it and put it on, it's just this wonderful, lovely, wavy color stripe effect.
And feather and fan is a wonderful way to learn lace. And we also have a big stretch of garter stitch for your Netflix knitting. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
And there's color. There's color here, because the waviness can be stripes. I mean, you could certainly put in a solid if you'd like to, but traditionally those were stripes.
Right. And you sort of, the stripes emphasize the lace.
Yeah. And it looks really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And so one of the great things about Shetland sheep is that the same sheep can grow multiple colors of wool. And so the spinners there would separate out the colors.
You just reminded me, wait. You just said the same sheep. So it made me think, okay, this year I'm going to be brown. Oh, this year I'm going to be white. This year I'm going to be black.
Same sheep.
The same breed of sheep comes in different colors.
No, the same sheep can have different colors of wool on it. So you might have a mostly white sheep with brown spots, or dark brown and light brown and white. You know, it just has different colors on it. So they wouldn't just decide. So anyway, they would separate out the colors and spin them separately, and that way they would have different natural shades that they could use for their garments.
Right. Sorry. So you are going to knit this in traditional Shetland wool.
Yes. So I have picked some colors that I'm not entirely sure this is what I'm going to use yet, because I haven't swatched the colors yet. But as we're doing this, you're going to want sort of a neutrally, you want your main color. I'm not going to say you want like a neutral necessarily, but you want a main color, and then you're going to need 4 other colors to go with it. So this is if this all works out when I swatch for colors, this is going to be my main color, a nice sort of blue genie color. And then I have these 4 colors for stripes. And this is all from Uradale Yarns,
Huh?
which is a yarn producer there on Shetland. They have incredibly wonderful farming practices there. The wool is all organically raised, it's organically processed, and it's dyed with organic dyes. So it's
Wonderful.
wonderful. And I say they have wonderful farming practices. If you ever get to go there, you can actually see on the hillside where their property ends and the next farm begins, because theirs is still all beautiful heatherland and the other has just been grazed down to grass.
Mm.
And so it's like they do wonderful work there. I love their wools. It's a
Can
brilliant
you,
Shetland wool.
would people have time potentially to order from Uradale
Yes.
and have it come on time? Maybe.
Yes, you should. Now, it's still COVID shipping. I did just order from a different maker, a different
Right.
yarn producer
Right.
there
On Shetland.
a week and a half ago, and I got it in a week.
Ooh.
And so it's the same shipping process.
So it's a possibility. Is
Yeah.
Uradale available in the US?
I do not know what their current stockist levels are in the
Okay.
US, but if you go to the website and look for stockists,
Yeah.
you can see.
Okay.
But you can also go for it, you know.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, because I'm knitting from stash, because
Right.
one of my goals is to do that more this year and to work
Mhm.
down some of my stuff. So I'm going to knit from stash. So if people don't want to buy anything this time, or they don't have access necessarily to, the traditional Shetland wool, I'm going rogue and I'm going to knit from stash. And one of my ideas, and again, I have not swatched, but one of my ideas is to take one of my, like I have one of a kind skeins. Okay. Or okay, they're not necessarily one of a kind. Like I could order another one maybe, but these are yarns that I have that are from independent dyers that, like, I only have one. Like I don't have 3 or 4 skeins that are the same. So this one, for example, is all speckly and crazy. And this is from Craft Me Not Yarn Company. And this was a colorway from a club that I was in. So, but you can see the colors and the speckles. So what I might do, but again, I won't know till I swatch, is have this be my main color back and forth with the speckles. And then I'll choose stripe colors that are used in here. So
Yeah.
I'll try to choose solid
I would
stripe
think that would
colors.
be great. Yeah.
So
I like the idea of doing that with a speckled yarn,
yes,
because you're not, with just speckles, you're not going to lose the color change between that yarn and your stripe. You
Right.
should still have a nice clear
Right.
color change.
I have this one as a possibility,
Ooh, I
which
like
is
that.
a little more neutrally, and then I would
Yeah.
maybe have some different shades of blue for my stripes.
Good idea.
I don't know. This one is called Seismic Yarn and Dye Works from San Francisco. And this colorway is North Beach Breakers.
Nice.
And then I have some crazy here
Oh, wow.
from Lauren at A Girl in Her Wool. And there's lots of
Yeah.
other colors in there that I might be able to do the stripes with, but I don't know yet. So that will be the value of swatching. So
Right.
I have lots of choices but I'm going to knit from scratch. So the main color uses 375 yards. Thank you to Anne for sorting out that conversion from, the pattern is written for 50-gram balls of Shetland wool. And so each 50 grams is 125 yards. So if you need 3 balls, then that would be 375 yards of your main color. Most single skeins of sock yarn are at least 400. So that would be fine.
Yeah.
And then you have your other colors, which are 125 yards or less. So even if you have some leftover sock yarn, like I have some cakes up here, like I have some, I may weigh that out or measure it even.
Right.
And it might be a good way to use up some leftovers, because colors C and D are 65 and 95-ish yards.
Yeah.
So I haven't decided.
This is what swatching is for. We're going to swatch. We only have to do a very short swatch. We're going to go over how to do that on March 1st.
That will be our cast on your swatch.
Yep. So we are giving you time to gather some yarny possibilities. And then we'll talk about swatching, how to do an effective swatch for this pattern, so you really see what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Your colors.
And I'm going to cast on enough that I'll be able to see, to knit a fairly good square or rectangle, whatever. And then, yeah, I want to be able to see what I'm going to get. The other possibility is, something like this, that's a lot of tonal, but there's not any pooling, right? This is just a sock I'm working on. And then, different shades of things to go with it.
Right.
I don't know yet. I don't know. By the way, this is also from a girl in her wall. It's the sock I'm working on, and I love it.
Well, if you look at the two samples that she knit,
right.
She has a gray one with blue and then shades of yellow and like a white for the center. So you can do something like that where you're playing around more with the color wheel, and taking, a blue, and I'll go. So with blue, she's going across the color wheel and over to a side and over one step.
Yeah.
The other one that she knit is more like the colors I've picked, where it's a darker shade of one color and then lighter shades leading to
kind of a fade in.
More of a fade.
Right.
So that's another direction that you can just with your colors as well. So
and I think, in this particular case, swatching is well worth the time. You can always take it out. It's fine. It's not a fitted garment. You can take out your swatch, but at least take a photograph of it. And if you need the yarn, bind off. And if you need the yarn, you'll have it. If you need to pull it out and use it later, but yeah.
We were actually talking, for those of you who are like, no, I'll just skip and go right to knitting it. Jan and I were actually talking before we started filming, because I'm working on a design right now, and I had my colors picked. They've been in my mind since September. And I was like, no, this has been in my mind since September.
It's gonna be fine.
It'll be fine. I spent 2 nights knitting on it. I got to a certain combination and I was like, that looks awful and it's not going to work. And I had to, because of the design, I couldn't just pull out those few rows. I had to pull it all out. And I'm casting on again for that. And this time I did do a little swatch with some other possible colors. It was like, okay, that will work before I cast on again. But it really is worth taking one evening of your knitting time and just do a little swatch so you know.
Right. Well, and I will say, like something like this, I don't have any idea how it might pool. So, and that's going to, even doing a small swatch,
that'll affect the pooling.
It won't help me, because this cowl is like you cast on 250 some odd, whatever it is.
Because it is a double wrap.
Right. And so I don't know how that might pool. So I may not pick this because of that unknown.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I like knitting, and we start with the garter stitch section. So if I get into it, this far, I'm like, I like knitting. I'm okay pulling it out. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Some people are like, oh God, no. But I will.
I feel like
lighter and more speckly.
Yeah. I feel like I have so much knitwear in my home right now that it's almost like, if I have to pull out and start again, it's like, okay, I've slowed it down a little. I've slowed the finished object acquisition down a little.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's all right. So that's fun. So work on people between now and March 1st, when we cast on our swatches. Mm-hmm. People can think about what yarn you would like, dive in your stash, go support your local yarn shop. Go support your local indie dyer, whatever. Yarn store. Another thing I think people sometimes think they can't do, or they'll feel awkward about doing, is stash diving and finding some things they like, and then taking that to the yarn store to find the rest of what they need. Right. You can totally do that. Totally. Yarn store owners are happy to help you, color match with what you already have. Sure. That's most of them are absolutely cool with that.
Yeah.
So fun. So we will be, I want to see, post in the group, post in the Ravelry group. Anne has a Facebook group. I have a Facebook group. We both have Ravelry groups. Show us your yarn possibilities. I'd love to see what people are thinking. That'd be super fun.
Absolutely.
Yay.
This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this.
Yep.
So we are going to have videos all through March.
Yep.
Jan is going to be doing the instructional videos,
Yep.
and
And we'll be chatting.
And we will be doing videos together to talk about different aspects
And show our progress.
the project and show our progress as we go. So I look forward to doing this with you through March.
Thanks. I have one more wrap up thing to revisit. I still cannot find a box of damn Crackling Oat Bran. Can't find it. I look every time.
So many people messaging me just out of the blue. I found Crackling Oat Bran, or I finally tried it. It is amazing. I know it's amazing. You don't have to tell me it's amazing.
I want to see the level of amazingness. I want to see it. I want to experience it for myself.
Yeah, I am amazed at how many people do not have it in the stores near them right now, though. I do think there is like a supply shortage
of Crackling Oat Bran.
Yeah. So good luck, guys. Find it. Try it. I apologize for the diabetes when you get addicted to it, and that's all you
have some self-restraint.
Have a burger now and then, counterbalance all that insulin, yeah.
Okay. Yay. Well, I'll update you on that if I ever find a box.
Okay, good luck.
Bye.